God, you have all the money, right? So give it to me. Hey y'all, it's Shimdi. So I'm answering this question from Kristen, who asked me, how did you get out of your survival mode? I have my laptop right here. I'm going through that now due to a bunch of personal and family things that's come up. I recognize it's just a season of life, but it definitely makes me still feel sad for not having the capacity to post and create because I'm managing these life things. There's like the practical ways you get out of survival mode, but I think what really happens is you make this energetic shift where you get so freaking tired of it that you're like, I am done. And I remember having that moment back when I lived in Towson. I was walking around my apartment complex. I was so over all the efforting I had been doing to try to grow my business and grow my YouTube channel and whatever else I was up to. And I was so tired of being broke and being poor. And I was just like, God, because I also was like, God, you have all the money, right? So give it to me. Like I was fed up. I was like, actually, I'm done. What am I doing working? You just give me money. Just give it to me. And that was it, right? And there's this idea with manifestation where instead of, begging and praying and asking, you treat it like you're at a restaurant and you say, hey, this is what I want. Give it to me. You don't say give it to me to the waiter or the waitron. You're just like, hey, this is what I would like. And they're like, great. And there's no back and forth unless you want to, mention your allergies or something. And so I got to that point, I had been taught to have a lot of deference towards the idea of God. Like I was brought up in the God as father, like God is some guy. God is some dude who you should defer to. You do as you told, you obey. That was the relationship I had with God. So it felt very radical to be speaking to my concept of God and be like, you do it. You do it. This is yours, right? And it's interesting because now my relationship to God has really evolved, and the idea of it and like God living in me and me creating my own reality, and there actually not being a separation between me and God. It's just this one infinite life, right, that I'm a part of. So it's really changed a lot. And I think, with a lot of things in our life, things have to get really bad before we make a change. Basically, the process of being in survival mode got so freaking annoying that I was like, I'm over this. I'm not efforting anymore. I'm not fighting anymore. I'm not forcing anymore. I don't want to. And so I won't. You take care of me. And guess what? Now I live in a hotel. It works. It works. It's so I was gonna say it's so annoying, but it's not annoying. It's awesome. It's awesome that it's true. And we just all have our own journey to get to the point where we realize it's true and then receive all the best blessings and benefits that come with it. And the metaphor I like to use is, say you're not a strong swimmer, you fear you're gonna start drowning. A lot of people, they start to panic, they start to flail around, right? And because they're doing all this flailing, they actually sink faster. But if they were to just relax, the water will lift them up. The body is buoyant, it'll float on its own. So if you just chill, your body will float to the surface, right? And so I think when we're in survival mode, we really think it's true that we lack something, that there's a scarcity of something. It feels undeniably true. The idea of, this is an illusion, right? It doesn't feel like that when we're looking at the bill, when we're looking at the empty fridge, when we're looking at the eviction notice, all these things, right? We're like, no, this is real. And so because we give our energy to the perceived reality of the situation we're in, it keeps us disconnected from the truth, which is it's not that real. It's not that real. Which is so weird. It's so trippy. It goes against every single thing we've been taught. And as soon as I think the key thing too is you need evidence in your own life. Otherwise it's just ideas and concepts and words. So you need to have some evidence of, I felt a way about something. I poured my energy into something. I was really aligned to something. I listened to my intuition around something. And then the thing happened. And you're like, wait. So you need some evidence of your own life of wait, I have some relationship to the reality I'm experiencing. So once you have a little nugget of it, then you can start being like, all right, well, what if I try this? What if I put my energy here? What if I practice that, right? And then as your energy builds, it starts to change your experience and you get more and more examples. And what I found to be really helpful for this is to be super intentional about the media that I consume. Like, I listen to a lot of Neville Goddard, a lot of Joe Dispenza, a lot of Abraham Hicks, and I'll just have it on in the background, right? Like, I used to listen to a lot of music. Now, if I'm like making dinner or something and I want to put on something in the background, I'll pull up like an hour-long AI generated Neville Goddard speech. Usually it's like a compilation of 3 different like 20-minute lessons. And it's the same message. If you listen to any of that stuff, they say the same things over and over and over again. You listen so much that you can basically know what they're gonna say before they say it, especially with the Abraham Hicks stuff. It's so like, it's one note, but not in a bad way, but it's just like, it's one frequency. Like, it's just, you tune into the channel, you hear one song, right? And the song is, you've got this, connect to joy, everything is working out, it's all for you, you're creating your reality, good things are coming. When you just connect to that frequency, eventually you're gonna start to believe it. You basically hypnotize yourself into believing that you can have whatever you want, that you can create a beautiful life for yourself. And then when you really do believe it, you start to do it. And it becomes easy and fun, right? And then life becomes, ooh, what am I gonna create next, right? And do I wanna consciously create it? Do I just wanna connect to how I feel and just be in my joy and create it that way? And I think that's a really powerful way to access, releasing that survival mode too. Is, for me, there are certain things that if I engage with them, I will lose myself in the joy of it. So music and dancing are things like that for me. Like, if I put on a song I love and I let myself really give myself to the music, like, it's like I think about Ratatouille and how when that rat Remy, when that rat was eating food and it was like all these like colors and like, motions and swirls, like all these things were like happening in his mind. Like, that's how the flavor of the food lived in his experience. That's how it is with me for music. Like, when I hear music, it's like I feel these like ribbons of light like swirling all around my body. Like, it's a very beautiful, ecstatic experience. And so no matter what's going on in my external world, I can either physically go on Spotify and put on a song, or I can just sing the song in my head. And I can sing a song in my own head to the point of feeling so grateful and so overwhelmed with the blessing that those artists came together and made that song for me. They made it for me, right? And so I hear it, and that's part of like how we break that, being a victim to reality, in quotes, mindset, is because the reason why we're scared is because we think we're gonna feel a certain way, usually like hopeless, more fear, more scared, right? Guilty, shame, some of those like denser vibrations. We're like, oh, when I get kicked out of my apartment, I'm gonna feel sad, scared, and ashamed. And so we start practicing and rehearsing those emotions, and then we sort of bring that experience closer and closer to us. And so when we realize, wait, but in this moment, I know I have this fear of some future thing that could happen. In this moment though, I could connect to joy. Like, I have that choice to connect to joy. No one can stop me, right? And then when you make the choice and then you feel amazing, you're like, oh, this is great. And then usually you get some kind of inspiration to do something. And it could just be, oh, I want to go for a walk, or, you know what, I'm going to go to the roof and go for a swim, or I'm going to message this person. Like, you'll usually be inspired to do something, which will then create, to use the Neville Goddard terminology, the bridge of incidents that walks you into the experience you want to have. But it's never the thing, it's only ever that you shifted your energy and your frequency away from fear, guilt, anger, shame, all these things, towards joy and excitement and love and connectedness and all these other beautiful things. And it's wild how, like, when it finally clicked for me, I remember thinking about Neville Goddard and Abraham Hicks and Joe Dispenza, and I was like, is there any other way to say it? And I was like, I don't think so. I think you really just get it. And you're like, oh, because it's like folks have been saying it so many times over and over and over and over again. It just has to click for you. And then you're like, oh, joy is my compass. That's the name of a literal book I read. Joy, they were like, how, girl, joy is the compass. Feelings are the secret. Everyone's saying the same thing. They're just like, feel good, feel good, feel good. And then you're like, but, and it's like, there are no buts, just feel good. And then it's like, when you don't get it, it's so frustrating. And then when you get it, you're like, this is literally the most simplest thing. And I can't think of how I could say it simply. And so I'm gonna put on a song I love and I'm gonna dance in my living room and I'm gonna feel good. And that's actually where I'm at now, where I'd say for the last couple of weeks, I had been just listening to all of these speakers and just connecting to the frequency of it. And then at some point it clicked where I was like, you don't need to be reminded of what to do. Just do what you know makes you feel good. And I was like, right. And then now I just listen to music I like. And I dance and I laugh and I swim and I'm like on social media, on TikTok, just like scrolling and cackling, like sides hurt from laughing so hard, and talking to my friends and coaching my clients and making my videos. And I'm like, oh, they've been trying to say it and I was trying to understand it in my head, but it's truly a heart understanding of like, oh, my joy is why I'm here. Even the mindset around growth, which is what used to be what I thought was true, like, oh, I'm here to grow. And then I heard it where it's like, no, you're here to be joyful. And I'm like, oh, if you like growing, awesome, but you're gonna grow anyway. Like, you're here for joy. And just to give ourselves permission to not be striving, to not be missing or lacking anything. Like a tree doesn't wake up like, okay, I'm gonna really grow today. No, it just fucking chills. And the sun shines on it and the water rains on it and it grows and it's joyful and it gives its beauty and it gives its shade to us and we're blessed. So hope this is supportive and I'm sending you so much love. I know it's one thing to be in the frequency of what am I gonna do and try to like hear it intellectually and put it into practice. And it's another thing to just, put on a song you like, put on a show that makes you laugh. Like just basically do what you can to connect to real joy as consistently as you can. And then, just see what happens. Let me know if this resonates. Say hi in the comments. Thank you, Patreon people. We've only got a few more days left in this challenge, which is wild. I'm gonna make a video where I celebrate my 2024 and celebrate the YouTubers, the other creators who have walked along with me. There's a post that I made on my community tab where if you want to be a part of that video, you can go and leave a comment and I'll include you. And if you have a YouTube channel, feel free to, put a little video camera emoji and I'll include your YouTube channel. And then in January, we'll be back with HelloCreator. So that'll be January 8th. We'll resume every Wednesday at noon Eastern time. And if you want some one-on-one support to launch your creative journey, restart your creative journey on YouTube, you can put some time on my calendar at chimdihazier.com. Bye.